Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today we are looking at the price of Theta and really trying to figure out just how high this thing can go. And, I've used Fibonacci and things like that, but I'm going to show you something I don't think anybody else has shown. At least I don't think so. Yeah, but before I show you that, trust me, you're going to want to see it because it's definitely interesting. Um, but before I do, just to recap here, um, the price of theta is doing exactly what it needs to do. And basically, I've said it before, I'll say it again. You have a beautiful sideways base. This is the 6 week chart. I am looking at the 6 week chart, trying to pick time frames that nobody else is looking at, right? People look at the weekly chart, the monthly chart, maybe the 2 month chart. I'm kind of doing it in the middle, right? So in between 1 and 2 months. So 6 weeks, perfect. We have a beautiful base. And what do we have? We have an impulse to the upside. And then what do we have? We have a correction to the downside. And then what do we have? We have another base, right? You could see we are bottoming out. See, this isn't continuing to go down, 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 down. You could see it went down. Now it's going sideways. And we've talked about this as being Wyckoff accumulation, right? So you have your concrete foundation, you have your flagpole that's going into the foundation, right? You break out, you pull back, you have your base. It's very simple. It's not a difficult chart to read, right? Obviously, there's not a lot of data on the chart because this is all we have to work with, but it gives us an idea of what to expect. And what I'm expecting is at the very least a retracement. So, for example, the price comes down, the price doesn't just continue going down, right? If the price goes down and then it goes sideways, it doesn't continue going down. Not normally, it could, right? Remember, not financial advice. Anything I say is not financial advice. But the thing is, I believe at the very least, since we went down and then we went sideways, I believe we are going to at least a retracement of these prior candles right here. So the big thing is how can we get above it, right? Or will we get above it? So this is where all the decisions are made. We can either come down, right? So it'd be an A, B, C, and then go, or this is a 1, 2, and then we continue higher. But either way, if you're a hodler, it doesn't really matter because this is upside and this is upside. Now, the difference is time, obviously. If we come all the way down here, now I'm just drawing it, and we come down and we back test this area down here, then that would give you probably a one-way ticket to being a multi-millionaire. Not financial advice, but come on. If we come down and backtest this area right here at 20 cents, knowing that the all-time high was $15, are you kidding me? So if you are a long-term investor and you care about, generational wealth, financial freedom, in a slow, methodical way that guarantees it, then you're going to want A, B, C, and then go. If you're the kind of person who wants this party to get started now and you don't really care about buying this, maybe you already have plenty of coins, you don't care, you want it just to continue to the upside. Now, think about, what your future self would want, right? Maybe you're in your 20s or 30s, or maybe you're in your 40s, or maybe you're a teenager, right? Ask yourself, if you're 62 years old, what and you're talking to your future self, would you want an extra year or two, or maybe a year and a half to buy that 20 cents, right? Or do you just want to continue going now, right? For me, obviously, I want it to go now. Let's go now. But if we do come down, it's not a big deal because I know my future self would appreciate it. Because at that point, 20 cents purchasing Theta, right? I don't have a calculator with me, but if I bought, I don't know, let's say $2,000 worth at 20 cents, and then we just get to the all-time high, not counting all-time high. I mean, that's a lot of money right there, right? So those are the two options I'm seeing at the moment. Now, which option do I think is going to occur? Well, here's the third option. And I'm going to show you something nobody else has shown you. At least I don't think so. If you've seen it before, let me know, but you're going to want to see this. So basically, I just gave you two options, right? So again, we have our impulse, we have our correction, and then we have our another base. So now, here's the third option. Here's the third option. We come up in a retracement, okay? And then we kind of go sideways a little bit and then fall, but then holding this back test area up here, right? And then go into reaccumulation. So you have a rise, you have a crash, right? And now we're going into a retracement. Then we come down for reaccumulation. We go sideways again, making a bigger base, or here, right here, watch, to make it simple. So here's your base here, and then make another base on top of that base, right? And then go to the moon. So again, concrete foundation, massive impulse to the upside. This is your kickoff, right? Sunday night football, right? Kickoff, let's go. Or Monday night football, right? Come kick off, come down, right? Develop an accumulation box. Then you go into a retracement. Then you come back down into reaccumulation on top of the first accumulation box. And then you go to the moon. That is option number 3. And that is the option I believe is what's going to happen. Not financial advice, but there you go, guys. I gave you 3 options, and I'm like 95% sure, right? I can't say 100 because you're never, right? But I'm 95% sure it's going to be one of those options. It just has to be, right? I mean, so again, option number 1, we pump, we come down, we retrace, and then we come down for a C wave, back testing this, and then we go. That's option number 1. Option number 2, we impulse, we come down, we're in the accumulation box, we go into retracement, and then we consolidate a little bit, and then we continue going to the bull run. So there's your 3 options. All 3 options say, hodl me, Theta. Hodl. That's what they say. All 3. So, right? So those are the 3 options. Obviously, you have a 4th option in which this is not accumulation, but rather distribution. And then we come down to back test, right? Back test this area, right? We come down, we back test area, and then we go up. So that would be the least likely scenario. So there you go. So option number 1, right? In no particular order, we come up, come down, we accumulate, and then we continue to pump, right? That would be like, I would guess everybody wants, because we would just get the show rolling. Option number 2, we come up, right? And we go into reaccumulation. We retrace, we go into reaccumulation, and then we blast off. Option number 3, we go into retracement, and then we go down to the C wave, and then we blast off. Option number 4, least likely option, we start to come down, back test, and then go higher. So there you go. Those are the 4 options that I see. I'm actually going to take a screenshot of that because I think it's very important. So now what we're going to do, this is very important. Check this out. What we're going to do is we're going to turn the lights on, and we're going to figure out which path makes the most sense, right? And watch this. You're going to be like, oh, I never seen that. Now that starts to make sense, right? So here we go. So everything is clean. This is the 2-month chart. Okay, now take a look at it. Now watch this. So here's our pretty much our big time low right here, right in here. So I'm going to take this line and I'm going to extend it out as if it's a trend line. This is trading one. This is TA 101 trend line. Very, 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 very simple. I'm going to take a trend line and I'm going to take it all the way, and look how beautifully it matches up. It was like meant to be, right? It was love at first sight. It was meant to be, right? We're connecting this point to these all the way to the current low. I mean, it's like perfect. Okay, then I'm going to tap it, and now this is where the fun begins. Now I'm going to raise this all the way up until we get to that high. Right about, I mean, we could do it from the wick, or we could do it from the body. Let's do it from the body so that we're more conservative, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this out just a little bit, and you can already see how much confluence we have, especially in this middle line. See here? Rejection, rejection, rejection. We came down, held support, lifted off, consolidated, retested it as support, this trend line here, then boom, blast off all the way up. Then look what happened. We got resisted. Then we come all the way back down, and look at this. We're holding support. Okay, fair enough. So now, common sense, right? I'm going to scrunch the chart a little bit. Common sense says what? Where are we heading, right? Where are we heading? We were down here. Then we went up here. Now we're back down here. Where are we heading? You guessed it. Right back to the top of this, right up here. So there you go, guys. I think that right there would give us the answer of what it can be. Now, this narrows it down to 2 different possibilities. So check this out. So remember our 4 options, right? So the first option, right, we come up, we come down, right? We go into the sideways base, and then what do? We come up into a retracement. And where could we find resistance? The mean, right? The mean of the channel. So here's the mean right here, resistance, resistance, right? We slice through it like butter there. And look at the 200-week moving average actually started off in the mean, which is interesting, right? So we come up to the mean up here, right here, just about in a retracement. And then we come down into reaccumulation, right? We come down into reaccumulation, and then maybe back testing this trend line. But all at the same time, right? Let me put this on right here. At the same time, we are back testing this base, that yellow base right there, right? So we shoot up, we come back down, we shoot up in a retracement, we come back down, right? And then we back test the top of this base. At the same time, we are testing the bottom of this channel, right? So it can come anywhere, it wants. But I'm not trying to guess time. I'm just saying, look, anywhere in this area, right? And then we sort of come down for reaccumulation. Don't worry about my drawing. I'm just giving you an example, right? So we come down for reaccumulation in here, sideways reaccumulation on top of this base, and then we go to the moon, and that gets us over $100 theta. Check that out. So let me extend this out a little bit. So that could potentially be a scenario, right? So you have your concrete base, your foundation, your breakout. You come down for a crash. You go in for reaccumulation. You go into a retracement, and then you come back down to reaccumulate, and then you go to the moon. And that's typically what happens. And that would be right there, my primary idea. Right there. So somewhere up in the vicinity of this area. So somewhere in here. Right? Or it can be over here. So it depends on the time it takes. So there you go. That's sort of what I'm seeing here. And then what does this do? And you could say, well, how do we know that? Well, look what happened over here, right? You can't, it's hard to see because we're on the 2-month chart, but look at this. We blasted off just like we're doing now, potentially, right? We're going to blast off. Same thing here. We're blasting off, and then we come down, and then look what happened. We come down to retest the lower part of the ascending channel. This is an ascending channel, right? So for example, right here, let me draw it. So we have this pump and then come down, right? Same thing here. We have a pump and then we come down. We have a pump and then we come down. This is all the trend line right here. This is the belly of the ascending channel, right? So you test it at once, you come down, make a higher low, test it again, right? Same thing over here, right? I don't know how high it's going to go. Maybe it only goes this high and then it comes down, right? It's also, we just don't know yet, but I'm just giving you a general roadmap, right, of what we can expect. So we have some type of retracement. It could be anywhere from here to here to here, wherever. And then we pull back down, right? And potentially back test this area and then go sideways for a bit, right? Just like right here, we went sideways for a bit. And then we go rampaging to the upside. So there you go. That is my primary idea. Number one, right? Okay, so that was also one of the ideas I had in the first part of the video, right? Okay, so now what's idea number two? Well, if you remember, idea number two was, we have our base, we have our pump, and then we go into retracement, and then we work out that retracement, and then we pop to the upside, right? Or maybe we just do it more impulsively like this. And that would get us still to about $100 between, wide range, right? Between $70 and $100, right? So there you go. That would be idea number two. Simple, very, very simple. So the only difference is instead of coming down for a reaccumulation and going sideways, we're just going to continue marching up just like we did here, right? Boom, straight shot, boom, straight shot. Obviously, major pullbacks in between, you just can't see them because it's the 2-month chart, but trust me, they're there. So that's option number two. So what was the third option, right? In no particular order, The third option was we come down, right? We come down and backtest this area, and then we go. But the problem with that is, number one, we would break our trend line, which is definitely possible, right? But we would break our trend line and it would look very bad. And number two, what's the problem is we went sideways for a long time only to then dump. It doesn't make sense, right? So I don't think that option's on the table. Obviously, it's definitely possible, 100% possible, right? But I don't think it's likely. Okay, so that was option number 3. What was option number 4? So option number 4 suggests that we come up into a retracement, right? And then we go down for a C leg, back testing this high. Again, that is possible, but look what happens. We break our trend line, our beautiful love at first sight trend line. Look at that. We go into a retracement, we come down. So that would be an A, B, C, right? So this would be obviously 5 waves, and this would be the ABC. But the ABC, look how big it is compared to this move, right? So that's why I think the first 2 options are out the window. I mean, obviously, this one has more of a chance than the other one. So so I'm going to run it through in probabilities, right? So right here, let's do it again. So I'm going to take our channel. I'm going to put it right there. So for me, the most probable outcome is retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, go. That would be the most. Option number 2 would be we can just continue to pump to the upside. That would be the first 2 most probable outcomes, in my opinion. The third would be we come up, we retrace, and then we come down and we back test this area, and then we go up. Right? That would be number 3. And the least option would be we just dump from here, right? We come here, we're going sideways. Instead of accumulation, it's distribution, and then we come down and then we pump. So those are the 2 less likely. The first 2 were the 2 likely. So again, very fast. I'm going to do this video quickly. We are in a beautiful ascending channel. I mean, it's very premature, right? It's very premature. We only have 1 point to the upside, but we have 1, 2, 3 to the downside, right? On the bottom. So this is strong support. We have 1, 2, 3, and we only have 1 point down here. So it needs to even out, right? It needs to even out. Either we need to come up like this and come back down and retest it and then continue higher, right? Or we just come back and then just, continue marching our way up, right? But if we do come down and retest this, we could go sideways for a little bit and then continue higher, right? So it would be a rise, a crash, a retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, blast off. For example, here's XRP. You have a rise, you have a crash, you have a crash, you have a retrace, and then you come down for reaccumulation. And even on the broader, where we are now, we have a rise, we have a crash, we have a retrace, we have reaccumulation, sideways, blast off. So basically, Theta is kind of like right here when comparing it to XRP. So we still need a retracement. We come down for now it's not going to be this big, right? XRP has a massive structure for a crash, retrace, reaccumulation. That's one of the reasons I'm very bullish on it, because of this structure. Same thing transpiring in Theta, right? So I'll give you another example in the price of Bitcoin, right? But first, theta, again, real quick, same thing. We have a rise, a crash, retrace, reaccumulation, go. Or better yet, look at Ethereum. Same thing, right? Check out Ethereum, right? We have a rise, we have a crash, we have a retrace, and then what do? We come down for reaccumulation, right? We come down for reaccumulation, and then boom, we blast off. So theta is like right here, right? And then XRP, right, is already in this sideways box right here. Just showing as an example, right? Just an example. We have a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation. Here's your sideways box. And then what's going to happen next? I believe a major pump. Okay, one more example. Here's Bitcoin right here. So Bitcoin, right? We had a big pump to the upside, and then we came all the way down, right? And then we went sideways for a bit, just like Theta, right? And then what happened? Bitcoin went into its retracement, right? So rise, crash, retrace, and then it went down for reaccumulation, sideways base, and then boom, blasted off. So, like for example, XRP is in this box right here. Another reason why I'm very bullish. And then Theta is actually right here, right? So, what I'm thinking here is either Theta is going to, well, I'll just show you on the Bitcoin chart. Theta is going to continue rocking it to the upside, or it's going to retrace, then come down for reaccumulation, and then touch. Remember the channel, right? Remember the channel? It's got this beautiful channel right here, right? And then look, same kind of thing what Bitcoin did. It didn't quite reach the top, right? I mean, I didn't draw it right, obviously, but you know what I'm saying. We come down, we double tap it, right? You have a crash, you have a retrace, you double tap, and then guess what? Lights out. We go way up to the moon. Now, Bitcoin obviously fell short, but remember, it's like $1 trillion market cap. It's huge. Theta is tiny. It doesn't take much money to get it way the heck up there and beyond. So what is the price target for Theta? So here we go. That was the grand finale, ladies and gentlemen. So there you go, guys. I mean, this is Theta. So what do you guys think? I think this is one of the most important videos that I have to offer in regards to the macro theta economics, right? Thetanomics, right? So the price target is, it's a big range, but it's anywhere in here, right? So between $50, I think it's gonna go way higher than that, but we'll use a Fibo too. It's not going to be 100% perfect, but just bear with me. Let's see, where was the exact low? It's close enough right there. So, $70, right? $70 plus. But remember, Theta is pretty, it moves in grand moves, right? I mean, look at this. 3 cents all the way to $15. So what I like to do is use log scale for the Fibonacci target. So here we go. Check this out. Okay, there we go. And look at that. Perfect. I would say between $72 and $93. And remember, I'm just using the body of the candle. If I come up to the wick, then that changes from that goes about 130 to 167. But let's always be conservative, right? It's better to have lower expectations that get blown away than having higher expectations and not having them met, right? So yeah, I would say so here we go. We have, this is it right here. The 1.618 and the 1.702. Okay, so those two right there have confluence in the upper part of the channel. So not only do we have confluence, right? Now, here we go. Check this out. This is exciting. 1, 2, 3, right? 3 points, perfect. And then we have one up here. And then look where, if we were to continue going, right, up to here, it's perfect. It gets us right back to the top of the channel, and it gets us to the Fibonacci targets, right? So regardless if we go methodically straight up or we go into retracement, come back down, go sideways, and then continue higher, right? Rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, blast off, or methodically continue to rise. Either way, it gets us back up to here. So there you go, guys. That's it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, give me a comment. I think this video definitely deserves a like, especially because how perfect I think this channel here is. It's beautiful symmetry. There's a lot of confluence in it, and I think we have a really good chance at getting to those upper targets. Now remember, this is not going to happen tomorrow or next week. Remember, this is the 2-month chart. So I would suggest or suspect sometime next year or even the following year, right? So for example, this one took, I'll go from here. That one took over a year, right? So if we match that up here, 1 second, I would say between 8 and maybe 15 bars, right? So right there is about 10 bars. So that's actually not next year, but the year after, 2025, sometime in spring. And you say, oh, that's a long ways away. Well, you know what? It is what it is, right? And obviously, it can happen very fast. I like to be conservative with time targets, but remember, like Warren Buffett, the big quote, the stock market, here's the quote: the stock market is a device that transfers money and wealth from the impatient to the patient. You got to be patient. Patient rewards more than anything else, right? If you have that gambling mindset and you want it now, and it's frustrating you and you're making bad decisions, I suggest the best thing possible is to just hodl and don't even worry about it. Go on living your life, not caring about short-term volatility. I do because that's my job, right? I like to do this, right? But a lot of times it would drive people nuts trying to figure this out. Now remember, this can happen very fast, right? So look at this candle. We can pump all the way back up to the 786 this month, right? Go sideways and come back up. So I would say the most optimistic time target would be next spring. So between April and maybe early summer. And remember, crypto performs best when fall leading into winter and spring. Summer, it's terrible, right? It's just a summer lull. It either just does nothing. A lot of people are on vacation. There's not a lot of volume. It doesn't do anything, right? Summer is, is boring. So summer is also accumulation and consolidation. So I would suspect if we don't get a move by this coming spring, then expect next fall or winter. And then that would be our move. And then the following spring would be the big grand finale. So it's very hard to predict time. I don't know when it's going to be. All I know is the two options, which is continuing to rise, or we have a retrace, reaccumulation, and then blast off. The reaccumulation can last a while, right? So it's hard to know. I mean, there's a lot of political things. There's a lot of, the stock market, the dollar. What's Bitcoin going to be like in 2 years? It's hard to know. But at the same time, you have to have confidence and conviction in what you hold. And the best thing to do is to understand the utility value. You understand why you hold Theta. Why do you hold it? Because you believe in it. Because you understand the technology, you understand what it's capable of. Or maybe your friend just said, hey, go buy this, and you did, right? Which I don't think so, right? It's important to do your research, which I'm assuming you have, and now you're holding it, right? So Theta has great fundamental value. It has great utility value. And what that means is growth, but over time, right? It takes time for the growth. So I'll leave you with this. Let me take everything off the screen. I'll go right here and I'll come back up. There we go. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a bars pattern and I'm just going to go right there. And then I'm going to take this bar pattern and I'm going to put it right there. Right? So that's sometime in 2026. So that's January. That's a long time from now. Now, do I think it's going to take that long? No, I don't think so. So that would be the maximum, right? And this one would sort of be your average, right? So just kind of like taking this trend line here, right? And then putting it over here, right? So that's sort of one of the easiest ways you can get there. So probably next spring, going all the way till the following spring. So spring 2024 and spring 2025. I think those are really good time targets, right? So there you go. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell you. But what I do know is this was tested. This was tested. This was tested. This was tested. This is overdue. It's symmetry. Look at this. And that's what channels do, right? So there you go, guys. Let me know what you think. When do you think we're going to moon? Are you bullish? Are you bearish? Let me know in the comments. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. And I will catch you on the next one. Cheers.